All right, here's simplifying exponents using all 5 properties in the 2 definitions. You're going to see that some of the problems from your worksheet are on here. You're going to do the rest, but this will help you through a couple of them. And then there's a challenge at the end that I'd like you to do at the bottom of the worksheet that you received today. In this problem, we have a quotient to a power property, which in our general law is A divided by B all to the m is equal to A to the m divided by B to the m. So I'm going to use that law here. Here is my m, and each of these is a factor that I have to bring to that power. So I'm going to rewrite this as x cubed all to the negative fourth times y to the negative second all to the negative fourth divided by my denominator z to the negative 5 all to the negative 4 by using that quotient of powers property. Now I'm going to use the general law of a power to a power, which is known as a to the m all to the n is a to the mn for that law. So I have to multiply powers. So if you look here, multiplying the powers. So my simplified case would be x to the negative 12th times y to the positive 8 divided by z to the positive 20. Next thing to look at is this has a negative power. I have to use a definition. That definition I'm going to use is a to the negative n is equal to 1 divided by a to the n as long as a is not equal to 0. So that's the definition I'm going to use to simplify here. So I'm just going to look at this term. Since this power is positive of y and z's power is positive, they don't move. Can't touch those. So I'm only moving the x, and x to the negative 12th becomes 1 divided by x to the 12th. But I still have my y to the 8th in the numerator, and I still have my z to the 20th. And now I'm just going to multiply. So 1 times y to the 8th is y to the 8th, divided by, x to the 12th, z to the 20th. And that's your final answer for number 2. So check your work. Make sure it is the same using those 2 laws and that one definition. Here on example for 7, to follow through here because you have a couple more on that worksheet that have to do with this property. Again, we're just like problem number 2, we have a quotient a divided by b to a power m. That means I have to take each factor of that quotient and bring it to the power of m. So to do that quotient raised to a power property, I'm going to follow that and do it here. So I have 2 divided by 3 all to the negative second power. So I'm going to rewrite that as 2 to the negative second divided by 3 to the negative second. And now I have to use that definition of negative exponents. And again, that definition of negative exponents, a to the negative n is equal to 1 divided by a to the n as long as a doesn't equal 0. That's the definition that you're supposed to be memorizing and studying, just like this law you're doing as well. So we're going to simplify that. So when we have 2 to the negative second in my numerator, that simplifies to 1 divided by 2 to the second. Remember, this negative exponent means the reciprocal of the positive power. And that's what it means down here in the denominator too. It needs the reciprocal of the positive power. So if it's in the denominator and I flip it, and it's already in the denominator, it's going to come up into the numerator. So it's 3 squared divided by 1, because it's like flipped. The negative exponent in the numerator comes down in the denominator, a negative exponent in the denominator comes up. And I'm just left with simplifying that. So my final answer is 3 squared divided by 2 squared. And I can leave it that way because it says only positive exponents. If you wanted to take it a step further, since you can do that, the correct answer is 9/4. Final answer for number 7. The last one I'm going to take you through is another quotient raised to a power. So again, we're going to use that idea of some letter a divided by b, some factor raised to the m power is equal to each of those factors to that power. So that's called the quotient of powers property. We're going to use that again just like we did on number 2. And I'm going to write it a little different. This gives me 5 squared times a to the 0 squared times b to the 4th all squared, divided by, and I have that factor in the denominator, c to the negative 3rd all squared, since I'm bringing this 2 to each of those bases. Now I'm going to use the property of a power raised to a power, which gives me the product of the powers. So my first one is going to be 5 squared is going to stay, but my next one will be a to the 0, 2 times 0, times b to the 4 times 2, which is 8, divided by c to the negative 3 times 2, which is negative 6. So now I have to simplify. I'm going to move over here. I have to use this definition, a to the 0 definition, and I have to use my negative definitions. So what are my two definitions? A to the 0 is equal to 1 as long as a is not equal to 0, and a to the negative n is equal to 1 divided by a to the n as long as a does not equal 0. So I'm going to have to take care of this using my 0 property, which is right there. So this rewritten is 5 squared times 1 times b to the 8th. But that c to the negative 6, just like I went over in example number 7, it's negative in the denominator, so I need to flip it. So it comes up into the numerator to the positive power, and 1 is left in the denominator. So now it's a matter of contracting that. Alex used that word in class, which is perfect. So to contract that, I'm going to use 5 squared times 1 times b to the 8th times c, that was a crazy 8, times c to the 6th. If you want to do this 5 squared out, you can, but it does say that we can use positive exponents. But if you wanted to, your final answer would be 25 b to the 8th, c to the 6th. And that's the final answer. And how did you do that? You used 2 laws and 2 definitions to do that. And that's what you're practicing, combinations, 3 to 4 steps. Now, here are your 2 challenge problems. Again, you can just pick one of those and complete it at the bottom of the worksheet. The first one is PQR all to the negative 2 times P squared Q cubed all squared divided by P to the 4th R cubed S all to the negative 7th. Or you can choose as your challenge problem A squared B to the negative 5th divided by C cubed times A to the negative 2B all cubed divided by AC squared all to the 4th divided by AB to the negative 2nd divided by BC cubed all squared. Choose one of those and complete it at the bottom of the worksheet given today. So tomorrow I should see all 32 problems completed from the top. Number 2, 7, and 15 were shown how to do here. So again, check your work. Make sure you're using your properties. Practice writing your properties down. There are 5 laws and 2 definitions. All of you will have a quick quiz when you walk in to make sure you remember all of your laws and your definitions in algebra so that we can use those in preparation for our upcoming quiz and then finally the test for chapter 9. So good luck. I will see you tomorrow. Work through that. If you need lined pieces of paper, fine. Use lined pieces of paper and just staple it to the worksheet that I gave you. See you tomorrow.